Have you ever prayed for a miracle and nothing has happened? What happens when healing doesn't happen for you and doesn't arrive, or a breakthrough is delayed or doesn't happen, or the door gets shut? Do we still trust in God, or do we blame God when things like this don't happen? What's the answer and what's the biblical way? Let's have a look. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me on my channel. And if you like listening to my videos and watching my videos, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. And today I'm going to talk and do a different style video because I'm just going to talk a little bit about miracles and healing and my experiences with that throughout my life as well. So I just want to preface this by saying I do believe in miracles. I've seen miracles. I've seen it happen in the church, and many times people have been set free from things. So this is not a bash against miracles and healing. It's something that I have witnessed with my own eyes and believe it. And the Bible has many examples of Jesus healing people and the disciples. So I'm not a cessationist in any way, and I still believe that the things that happened in the New Testament can still happen today. But I think we just have to be wary sometimes of the hyper focus on miracles, especially in the charismatic churches. I'm in a charismatic church and I love my church, but just need to be careful of certain things. So I was born with a physical disability, so it's called arthrogryposis. So my legs and arms didn't develop muscles fully from birth, and my joints were seized as well. So I can walk short distances, a couple of 100 meters, and I also use an electric wheelchair to get long distances and further around. Now, growing up with a disability, I have had my fair share of people in churches who immediately see me and come up and say, "Can I pray for you to be healed?" Now, I'm not offended by them, and thankfully, I'm very thick-skinned, and it doesn't bother me, and I don't dwell on it too much. But it's just this whole situation that if someone was new, they might be a bit offended by it. But yeah, just so many people over the years that come up and ask if they can pray for my healing and think that I need to be healed because I've got a disability, which is just the wrong way of thinking, and it's not the mindset that we should have as Christians, I don't think, because even in the Bible there was plenty of examples of Jesus healing people, but what about all the other people that weren't healed? Like, look at the lame man at the pool that Jesus healed and set free, but there were all these other people that probably didn't get healed. We don't know, it doesn't say, but just focuses on that one man. But Jesus's focus was not necessarily healing that man. It was to tell him that his sins were forgiven, and that is the biggest part of miracles, I think. And I personally think that I've had a great life. I've traveled the world. I'm married with kids and love my life. And I think that I don't think I could serve the Lord as much as I have if I was healed. And yes, would I love to be healed? Yes, yes. And I know that one day I will, because that we'll get new bodies and new everything will be new in heaven. And like it says in Revelation 21:4, it says he'll wipe away every tears from their eyes, and there'll be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. But in the meantime, I don't need to be healed to follow God. Miracles and healings were often used to try and show people that yes, Jesus was God, and Jesus has the power to heal and restore people. And I've seen it as well in modern day times, but we shouldn't be focusing just on miracles, because we don't know the reasons why God will heal some people and not heal others. I don't know. But I didn't need to be healed to have a faith. I got faith because I knew that I needed Jesus. And it's got nothing to do with my disability and no one else's disability either, because Jesus died on the cross for my sin. And that's the main thing. And me being a follower of Jesus is way more important than me having a miracle. And that's the thing that happened in Jesus' time too. People were just chasing miracles. They often followed him around just to see those signs and wonders that he could perform. And when things got tough, they all walked away and didn't want to know him at all. So we've got to be very careful with how we treat healing and miracles in the church, I think, and even the spiritual side of things. So some people need healing spiritually from certain things, and that occurs too. But when that doesn't happen, we need to not press into that, because sometimes God can use our non-healing, so to speak to others. So, for example, if someone has mental health or a hidden disability, that they might struggle with that, but then they can relate to other people. And my wife struggles with mental health issues, and she got delivered from many spiritual things, but the actual mental health issue didn't go away, and that's okay, because we have amazing advances in medicine and science that we can utilize, and that has God has given many smart people to give us. So, not that I am suggesting that we rely wholly on science and just go straight into the non-belief that we don't actually believe in miracles at all, and nor am I saying that we should go hard into miracles and just forget all the science. We need a balance. And it's the same as when some people don't take their children to the doctor when they need a doctor. That's wrong, and that's not part of miracles, I believe. And if you need a doctor, you should go see the doctor. But when you've got a long-term thing that you get healed of, that's great. But what's more important, being healed of your ailment or being repentant and following Jesus Christ? Because I think being a follower of Jesus Christ and having Jesus live in your heart is way more important than a miracle will ever be. But I think that's why we've just got to be careful, because yes, Jesus heals, and he did so much good healing. And I'll give a couple of examples here. I've got it on the screen. That Matthew 14:14 says, when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. And then Matthew 15:32 says, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. And he fed the group, of course, through a miracle. But the miracles were just to show that he was the Son of God, and that people should change their way and follow him. Now, I've had many times in my life where I've been like, why, God, why can I not be healed? And I don't think I'll get an answer this side of heaven. But I've sometimes bought into that, and the whole issue that some in some ministries people say that, well, if you're not healed, it's because you've got sin in your life, or you don't have enough faith, which is dangerous. And I think it's incredibly dangerous to people that just live in hope and hope and hope, because and they try to then go back into works because they haven't got healed. And it's a dangerous position to have. And I've had it said to me before too, that not necessarily my sin, but because I don't have enough faith, which I think is just wrong. I do have enough faith. I have amazing faith, but I didn't get healed, and that's life. That's I'm not going to be angry at God, and nor should I be, because I hold strong to what the Word of God said, and that's all that matters. Nothing else matters from there. And with our prayers, we might pray for something, but as Jesus said in the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, not my will be done, but your will, God. And that's how we need to live our life. If God doesn't want to do it, that's his will. And we may never know the answers, because his grace is actually sufficient for us. And that's all that matters. And sometimes when we ask for things as well, God can say yes or no or not yet. It might not be the time for it either, because we have to trust in God's perfect timing. And even with my disability, my all-time favorite verse and it really relates well to how much God loves us as we are, is Jeremiah 29:11, where it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans not to harm you, but to give you hope and a future." See, we all have a purpose, and we all have hope and a future in Jesus Christ. And no miracle or healing will ever take that away from me. And God is still good through that. And sometimes we just have to persevere through the struggle, persevere through the pain, because we know that our reward is in heaven. And there will be struggle, whether you have a disability or not, or whether you need a miracle or not. There is struggle in this world, but holding on to Christ and persevering, that will help us finish the race strong. And just remember, God is still good. God is still good. And He's near to the brokenhearted. And He will always be there for us. And He loves us dearly. We just need to just lean into Him. And He will be in a relationship with us. And as I said before, I never got healed. But as long as we are not telling people that they don't have enough faith or they've got sin, that's ridiculous. Because Jesus didn't die on the cross so that we would have to do more works, or because of our sin, or a sin from generations ago. We just live in a fallen world. And because we live in that fallen world, there is brokenness and there is things that aren't perfect. But as I said, I have had an amazing life and I'm still having an amazing life. I'm currently in training to be a pastor, and I'm helping running a church, new church plant, and I'm loving every moment of it. And I work in a full-time job as well. And yeah, I love my life as is. And maybe it's something that I'll ask God when I get to heaven. I don't know. Maybe it just won't bother me anymore. But yeah, it's just want to encourage you people as well that if your miracle hasn't come yet or it's not coming, you're not alone in that. And at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing, because you just need to hold on to God. And the cross reminds us that God's always there for us, and He loves us dearly. So thank you for listening. How about you share your story in the comments? And have you ever felt that? Has God ever been silent for you? Let me know. And also like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you on the next one. Cheers.